Okay, all right. Hold up.
How you gonna say okay? All right.
And then hold up.
Hold up.
Hey man.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back.
We
Welcome back.
back.
Nutty North episode. I'm gonna say 7 because I said 7 last week. Dang, bro, you just gonna drink the green wrist?
Yes.
It was invisible.
I'm trying to get a sponsorship.
All right.
I'm just saying. So it's invisible.
Yeah, it was invisible.
Cool. That means the mystery is still there.
All right. Well, we back. Nutty North episode 7. Since I said 7, no.
I mean, I'm saying though, but you had weeks to do the math to figure out which
Did I?
show we on. Yes, bro. Like,
All right, I gotta do that.
how do we have to do this every week? Like, I feel like one week I want to walk in here, sit down, and it's just like we on episode.
Boom.
The
Hey, we on
episode.
episode 7 right now. That's what we
Okay,
gonna
that's what
say.
we rock
Episode
with.
7.
That's what we
Presented
rock
by Mojo Sports Gear. We not on the main opening scene. I gotta fix that one. But yeah, we about to be talking about, everything AFC North football. But I didn't mention this yesterday, so I'm gonna mention it right now. Be sure to check us out on scoreonair.com where we have all our live streams and daily content. Score on there at facebook.com too. You can also check us there. But just be sure to check us out, man. Just check us out. So, starting off the show, we just gonna start with the teams are now padding up. It seems like football is just going at its regular pace right now.
That's what I like. That's when you know football started.
Right.
You hear the sounds of the pads hitting against each other. Now, granted, it's COVID time, so everything and anything changes because of the COVID situation. But to me, it's like steps. Just to get to the point that we are being able to get hit in pads, that means you're doing everything the right way. Still haven't heard anything out of any camps about COVID outbreaks or anything like that. So it seems like teams are getting smarter, organizations are getting smarter, leagues are getting smarter because they know what's at stake. Um, if you look around the NFL, there's so many different ways that they're making sure people are COVID free. Like I knew we were watching the Browns, how they're doing it. They have some type of machine where, or something that they wear on their neck that it alerts you anytime you're around somebody that's asymptomatic. So it's
Wait,
just
was that in one of the episodes?
yes.
Okay.
But it's just again every step is a step in the right direction. Again you had to get to a point that they could use pads. That means time had to go by. That means testing had to be, correct. And everything is a stepping stone to get to where we want to be, and that's actual football during the fall time. So it's great to hear the padded practices is coming. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's how you play football. You wear pads. You suit up. You hit somebody, and you get out there and you get after it. So any football is good football. I've been seeing some of the training camp some of the highlights and stuff like that. So it's good to see the competition going. And it seems like teams are getting acclimated. That's what sports is about. Especially NFL players because the rules change so much. So they're used to adjusting on the fly. It's just good to see. I'm happy to have it back.
Yeah, I'm happy to have it back too. I was seeing some of the Bengals practice. Seeing T Higgins do his routes. Okay. I was seeing T Higgins do his routes. Joe Burrow throw to him and everything. So yeah, it's just great to see them, padded up and everything. But now since we talking about them padded up and training camps just keep going, let's talk about these injuries. So out of the Ravens camp, they have their tight end Eli Wolf and wide receiver Antoine Weasley is dealing with injuries. Let's see the Bengals camp. I know it's Sean Lee, Trey Waynes. I think the Bengals got a lot of injuries. But what you thinking on this?
I think that this is the time for it. Training camp is always something happen early. It's just your body's getting used to it again. Especially football is such a contact sport that I think a lot of times during the off times you're not getting hit. You're not really you're working on your craft, but you're not getting your body into shape to be getting hit time after time after time. That's what practices are for. That's what training camps for. Like you have to get your body into that shape. So I think that a lot of players end up it's little injuries here, little ankle injury here, hamstring injury here. It's just repetitious. Eventually, and football is still one of the strong survive kind of sports too. So, um, has to be next man up. It's a physical thing. So, any little thing can throw you off your game, and it seems like that's what a lot of players are dealing with, and that's what they're going to continue to keep dealing with. Um, Again, referencing Hard Knocks, their coach were talking about this is going to be an unorthodox year because of COVID and because of injuries just in general. There's going to be a whole bunch of different bodies that come in and out. So players don't have to stay ready. It's going to be probably record wise players that's going to play NFL snaps. So I think it's just you're going to have to get used to players dropping like that, dropping like flies for one reason or another. I mean, if football wasn't bad enough, again, it's COVID. So, these are just things you're going to deal with. I wouldn't think it's too much of a big deal at the moment. You want them to get done early so that way your guys can be healthy when there's actually football to be played. And now, more than anything, it's less worrisome early just because we don't have any preseason games. So, guys will have a chance to heal up where they need to heal up. We'll have a chance to get ready because practices are the game, especially for, the names that you're reading off. It's not like they were super big names. So,
Yeah, I mean, for the Ravens, it seems like no one, no serious star players have been injured. But for the Bengals, at least with Trey Wayne, that was a big sign that they
yeah.
had on the offseason. Yeah, it's sad to see him miss it. I think he was expected to miss half of this season, so that's kind of sad. But I forgot to mention that Nick Chubb. I have no clue how to say. You know how to say Larry, bro? Larry Ojo.
Ogunjobi.
Yeah, it seems like they are. They're missing practice with injury.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still, a lot of stuff is precautionary too. You want to go ahead and take care of it just because, we have to gain, you have to gain your pay when you are. Again, this is the time where your body, especially like you said, Chubb, I know you have a concussion issue. He has to get his body up more than anything. Chubb's going to carry the ball a whole lot. So, this is football. Things happen. So I mean, again, as long as they're not serious injuries, uh, I'm okay with them. Just because I mean that's the nature of the game. Some injuries don't even make the injury list. It's just the wear and tear of it. That's just what your body goes through to get to the point. But again, it's only the strong survive. It's a mental thing. So I get you hurt. I get you have to be precautionary. You have to be safe, and rightfully so. And that's going to be a thing going forward. Everything um, the days of because back in the day it was that you have a concussion, you shake it off a little bit, you get back out here every day. Now they have the tens, they have, and I can only imagine what it will look like when the NFL season starts to this season more than anything, it's just more emphasis on the health of the players. Not saying it wasn't an emphasis before, but I mean I've always thought to a varying degree some of it was blowing smoke. Um, you're giving us, a lot of the rule changes. It was, oh, this is safety, this is safety. No, it's to get more offense. But I think some of the things they're doing now are more safety issues, and you have to be more safe. So I think it'll be football kind of get more towards basketball in that way too. Um, I think you'll start seeing more minor injuries having players sit out just because it opens up the door and it's so many more guys that you'll be able to, with the practice squads being bigger, there's going to be more guys that can step up and play if a guy needs to miss a week. Like, let's say, for example, Chubb, the concussion lingers on. And if he has to miss a week, you'll probably have somebody in that running back room that can take up at least a day while Chubb takes his rest if it's something like that to make sure he's 100%.
Right, because I'm looking at the Bengals and it seems Renell Wren, he's likely to miss the entire season, but we got Mike Daniels to cover that. So yeah, you're right. With the 80 man, what is it, 88 or 80?
80.
So yeah, with the 80-man training camp, there is enough that they can take spots. So
And
it's
that's what
probably
it's
not a
about.
lot.
It's the next man up. So I mean, it's just you have to kind of get into that attitude, get that mentality. And I mean, again, it's training camp, so I mean, these things are to be expected.
Okay, all right. So let's get to this. Let's get to talking about this Browns. What is it called again? The Browns doc. That's like a
I want to say it's B.
It's building the
B.
Browns. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
building the Browns.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
That's it's been around a while actually. It's been around a few years. As a Browns fan, obviously I know I watch every episode of it just to kind of keep tabs on the Browns. It was pretty cool. It was somewhat repetitive when the Browns were on Hard Knocks because it's kind of the same things. But the cool thing about building the Browns show is that it gives you an in depth scene of the Browns and their situation. And again, like I referenced earlier, the way that they're running their camp. Now it may seem like they're doing a lot because you have to. I think they had to get a temp check. They have a temp check they have to do at home, and that temp check is connected to an app, and that app connects to something that gets you a green check. And then when you get that green check, when you pull up to the campus, you have to get another temp check to make sure that you're straight. Then you have to get a COVID test. Then you have to get a like a life alert kind of thing that it rings every time that you're around anybody that's asymptomatic. Anytime there's a problem, anything that triggers off a COVID alarm, that thing goes off right around your neck, and you'll have somebody there, lickety split. Um, it reminds me of the Beckham situation.
Wait, hold on. What episode was that they had that?
This was the newest episode, 6.
6.
Yep, check that out if you haven't. It's on YouTube. The Building the Browns. I think it's about 6 episodes at this point.
Yeah,
But
it says it's 6 episodes. I'm on their website right now.
yeah, but they really go into detail, really go into depth about the stuff that they're doing, and it makes you understand that you can have a season because they're doing everything right. You don't have to necessarily have a bubble where players can't leave and get into the world. None of that stuff. They've progressed so much that they have a system. Again, your training staff is probably the most important that a training staff has been ever, because not only do you have to worry about the wear and tear and the physical activities of the actual game of football, you have to worry
Right.
about all the COVID stuff too. So it's like you don't even step in that building unless we all know that you're COVID free. You're not putting nobody at risk, and they're still doing the social distancing. They're still wearing masks. They're making extra special sure that the Browns organization won't be the organization that blows this whole thing up if it blows up. Again, you can see why Beckham looked at the situation and was like, all right, I'm cool. The NFL season can continue because there's nothing you can complain about.
Wait, was he thinking of opting out at some point?
He wasn't necessarily thinking opted out. I know they had there was like clickbait that he said that the NFL shouldn't have a season, and he did say that, but
Right.
that was before he went to the Browns organization and seen what they were doing to make sure that it was a safe environment.
Okay.
This was before he knew anything, so they just took him saying that, which was 2 weeks before he even seen the Browns organization, and they dropped it later and said, "Oh, made it seem like he's just saying it now." He didn't just say it at that moment. He had been said it, seen the Browns organization, and felt safe there. And why would you not? You know for a fact. You know that you don't have COVID, and then you know that even if you thought that something was up, there's something on your neck that's going to alert you before anything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a safe environment, as safe as you're going to find. So that helps because it makes it a guarantee, at least as close as it can get, that there will be football. And again, everybody has to do things the right way. And like they were saying on the show, it's not about what you do in this building. In this building, we're going to take care of all that. It's about the responsibility that you have when you leave the building to make sure that you're not around the COVID mess and you're not bringing that kind of thing around the whole organization. Now they'll make sure that you won't have a shot because of the structure that they have, but they still tell the guys every day, make sure you're doing the right things, make sure you're staying, practicing social distance still, make sure you're, washing your hands and doing everything that you need to do to make sure that the season can continue. It's just as much as the players as it is the organization. So, but I think it's real insightful. And again, if you have a chance to check it out, check it out.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna go on a break real quick, but when we come back, we'll be talking more training camp and dive into. I think it's Njoku, right? Njoku.
Buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about what he said. So catch y'all in a minute. All right, we back. We back. We back. Nutty North, presented by Mojo Sports Game.
Say it with
Did
your
I
chest.
hold up? Did I even introduce us?
Bro, you the producer.
All right, man. You supposed to be.
Man,
All
I,
right.
I I have my job. I'm supposed to do your job too.
It ain't gotta be like that. All right. If you didn't know, I'm Rondell. That's T. You know, we ain't got Maurice here. But once again, he's still healing. But
IR.
you know,
Mm-mm-mm.
like T said last week, it's time to retire. It's time to retire,
I
man.
just don't know what he was thinking. That's why I need Coach here. So I can look him in the eye and ask him, what were you thinking?
Hey man.
Why were you doing that?
He was thinking he still got it, man.
Yeah, I get it. But his name Coach. It ain't player. Like it ain't number 84.
Hey.
Now I can get it then, but coach. Sit down, coach. It's time to retire, bro.
Time to retire, man.
See what it got him.
But
Now look at us.
yeah.
No coach. No coach, no football, no patel attendant. We just don't have nothing. But we here. We back.
We back, man. Yeah, but speaking of coach, let's talk a little bit about his Ravens, like real quick, because it's nothing really coming out of their training camp. The most I just seen is that their rookies seem to be dominating top plays. So it seems like the rookies is coming in, showing out, showing that they have a place to stay.
That's healthy for him, too. And especially just rookies, period. This is the time for that because again, you don't have preseason games to show out. You have your practices, you have the film that you put out there with your coaches that see you every day against players that you're trying to take their job. So it is for the Ravens. It's refreshing to hear that for them.
All right.
And then add in the fact that the Ravens have such an outstanding team that if your rookies can come in and show that they can play with the guys that you already have, they may not see all that time during the regular season, but again, with the injuries and the next man up mentality in the COVID type of season, you never know when your name is going to be called. Literally,
All right.
we don't know who's going down. You could be the most durable player in the NFL, but that COVID hits you, no matter what, you're gonna have to sit down.
Yeah.
So as an organization, you want players to push your veterans. You want players to push your starters, even if that means your starters aren't bringing it. And they're that's the reason why that's cool because your young guys are still out there hungry. They're not taking no plays off, no time off with anything and anybody because they know this is their Super Bowl, and that's a good thing to hear. I don't necessarily always trust those reports because every organization you talk to or hear or listen to, you'll probably hear the same thing. Oh, we love
All
our
right.
rookie class.
Yeah, like with the Bengals and Burrow, they keep talking about how amazing he is adjusting to this offense.
Yeah, you can be all that until them bullets start flying at your head.
And to them 300-pound defensive linemen come running at you.
What Mike Tyson used to say, everybody had a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, sir.
So, I mean, that's all well and good, but I mean, to me, at this point, the best news you can hear out of any training camp is really no news because that means COVID has had too much to say. You want teams to just go out there and do their thing, get their guys ready as possible. I think this is a good thing that will come out of it as teams and players should know their playbook a lot more now. They have a
Right.
lot more time to study, so a lot of the mental lapse and a lot of the mental issues shouldn't happen with the NFL players anymore. At least not as much because they do have more time to dive in that playbook. You're not getting prepared for an opponent this week. If the regular season was, um, if the season was how the regular season usually is, they would be getting ready for preseason games right now. That's less stuff to focus on. That's less ways to get your head in the game, and now they don't have to deal with that. They could just focus on their playbook, focus on football, have a chance to just come in, get their grind and shine on, and call it a day.
Okay, so speaking on little quick touches before we talk about the Browns tight end David Njoku, let's talk about Chase Claypool out of the Steelers camp and him catching some attention from veterans like Joe Hayden and Ben Roethlisberger.
That's good for them. They need another receiver to step up for them, especially Juju Smith Schuster. For him, he has to be happy to hear that. But again, this is what you're going to hear.
All right.
We're paying you to catch balls, so I think that's less of a thing that he is doing what he's supposed to do. I think it would be more of an issue if he wasn't doing his job. But again, if you can only go off of what you're getting right now too. So not to say that you should have some optimism. I just think that you have to have context with it. So that's all well and good that players are going to play well. Um, You want your third round rookie to show up and show that he can catch some footballs. I mean, that's what you're paying him for. But it's still good to see. You just want to hope that continues if you're still a fan. Obviously, I don't. I hope he drops every ball that ever comes his way. But if you're the Steelers, you want somebody to, and maybe not even just him. You just need somebody, anybody, to show that they are that number two receiver for Juju
Right.
or that number one. Because you can argue that Juju's not a number one. You can
Yeah.
argue that he's a number two and need somebody to be that.
I mean, that's the reason why I brought it up because when coaching you, y'all kept chastising about like Juju's not showing up. He doesn't seem like a number one. So it keeps there's reports out that Claypool's showing up. He's building chemistry with Roethlisberger, so maybe he could be the number one.
He's going to need to do something because they have to get that something out of their offense. Their
Right.
defense can't play. So if they can get their offense together, then still it's going to be scary. And I think ultimately that's what it boils down to. That's going to be the difference with their team. And again, you look at Roethlisberger, and that chemistry is all well and good if it's with Roethlisberger, but you need that chemistry with everybody on that roster. If
Right.
you're Claypool, at the end of the day, Roethlisberger is going to be there maybe a couple more years of your career. So it's about what he can do as an individual player. Forget the chemistry with Roethlisberger. Even though you need that,
Mhm.
you know that you can't depend on him to be there for 16 either. So I mean, for Chase, he has to just come in and just do what he has to do. Continue to play well and make it happen. Especially now with rookie wide receivers, it's a lot easier to come along.
Right.
So I mean, he just has to find his place like anybody else.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about Njoku. And it seems like during an interview where they were questioning him about who was it? Mac Wilson's hit on Nick Chubb about the Hush collar hit that happened that put Nick Chubb on what was it, concussion protocol?
Mm-hmm.
It seems that he said he's looking forward to being a Brown for a long time, even
Uh,
after the reports that he was looking for a trade.
Sounds like you got a sharp talking to. Like that's
The front office called him in.
man, he got a reality check. At the end of the day, I mean, I get it. You want to be in a better position, I guess. You want to be in a situation where, and I can understand his point of view. It's your contract year. Um, I know they picked up the option, but still, you're getting pennies on the dollar. You want a chance to be able to show what you can do. There's another tight end that got picked up. It's just so many things that were pointing in the direction of I need a fresh start. I need to be somewhere else. But at the end of the day, you're still a competitor, and that's what football is. It's not always ideal. It's not always going to be what you think it's supposed to be or what you want it to be. It's about adjusting. So David Njoku still has to get open. I don't care if Austin Hooper's out there, Kareem Hunt, Beckham, Landry, whoever. The ball's coming to whoever's open. So if Njoku can consistently get open, he can outplay Hooper. He can get his shot. He can get his contract. He can get his money, whether it's from the Browns or anybody else. Um, Honestly, I think it's smart on the Browns not to trade him. If I'm the Browns, I'm keeping him up until his contract does run out. Walk and go somewhere else. And if you ball out for them, I'll take that. I'll gladly take that third round pick. I'll gladly take that fourth round pick. It'll be better than anything that I could have traded the Joku for today. Um, that's probably what happened. It was probably a lot of low balling, and he probably wanted another contract too. That plays a role. So there's nothing to say that the Browns didn't explore it. They probably did look into it, and they probably gave Njoku and Drew Rosenhaus the same information they were getting. You may be able to get traded, but you're probably going to go to a worse situation. Or you may be able to get traded, but you won't get that contract that you think you're going to get. You're going to be in the same situation. So it's kind of like in his mind, and again, this is spitball and speaking for somebody that, at this point, at least to me, can't speak for himself. Um, if I would have to guess, I just think that he got a reality check and he ended up looking at it and saying, "Well, let me dance with the girl that brought me here," and not really necessarily worry about too many other organizations where he doesn't know what's up. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know what to look forward to, and like you said, he loves Cleveland. He loves the city of Cleveland. He loves the organization. He just at the time felt like he needed to change. And one
That's
thing,
not something you hear often.
yeah, it's not. But one thing you have to keep in mind though, sometimes a athlete is kind of like an artist. Like Erica Badu said, you're an artist and you're sensitive about your blank. And for him, that's probably where his mindset was. Like, I need to show off what I need to show off. I need to be able to do what I can do to better my career, my team, and my money situation. And at the end of the day, once you look at things openly, I just found out the Browns organization was what was
Best
best
fit
for
for
him.
him.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody doesn't view you the same, and that's my point in comparing it to being an artist is what you think your picture is and what you think your art is to somebody else. You're just another. To the Browns, from the Joker, they probably valued him more than he thought. He probably thought with the moves and just getting emotional, like you see somebody get. And I can understand it again. You think you're a pretty good tight end, and you look up and somebody gets drafted at your spot, and the number one free agent they pick up plays your position. So you end up feeling some type of way, and he probably
Right.
just had a moment. And
Like he was just trying to jump ship because he thinking they trying to get rid of him.
yeah,
Basically.
and in reality, it's like when you stop and you look at the offense, and you stop and you look at your coach, and you stop and look at everything involved, you'll understand and you realize that the two tight end set that Stefanski runs is very favorable for you. You'll get the ball if you get open.
See, I was just about to ask, do they run into tight end
Yeah,
set? But all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's one thing, and again, if you pay attention, all this stuff was happening before he was able to talk to the Browns coaches, before he was able to go to the organization, before he was able to practice, be around his teammates, and stuff like that. The Joker's biggest problem has always been, can he stay healthy? Can he play? Can he be on the field? It wasn't about his talent; it's about his availability. So you can't be mad at the Browns for stocking up in a position where we don't know you're going to be here. Last year we had to deal with Seth DeValay because Njoku wasn't out there. You know what
All
I'm
right.
saying? So we don't want to have to deal with that again. So if Njoku goes out, cool. We have Hooper and Bryant. If Hooper goes out, we got Njoku and Bryant. If Bryant goes out, we got Njoku and Hooper. It's you'll get yours. So I mean, shout out to him for realizing that. And it takes a strong person to be able to say, you know what, I was tripping, or I acted out of turn. I did this, I did that.
Well, I should say his actual quote was when they asked when they asked him about his new agent who initiated the trade request, he said I'm not going into that at this moment. I'm a Cleveland Brown for the time being. For now, I am a Cleveland Brown for the time being, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thank you. So
In other words, let my agent handle that.
right,
Pretty much. And I get it. It's time to play football.
yeah,
Nothing to talk about.
right, all right. So before we go on a quick break again, I should have mentioned that AJ Green is also part of the injury list for the Bengals, and it seemed that Zach Taylor said that he seen him practice for 2 days, and that's enough
Yep.
for the first game.
hmm
So
That's about all you need.
I mean, yeah, but if the man tweaked his hamstring and you thinking we'll just rest him for the rest of this time for the first game, is he gonna be ready for that first game?
Yeah, because AJ's a walking route. So it's not like, what are you teaching AJ Green right now? You're not, it's if AJ Green wasn't injured, AJ Green would be having days off in practice. That's just the way it goes. He's an
Yeah, I
older
mean that's a good
receiver.
point,
He's a guy that plays the game.
but I mean he missed the whole season last year. It's like
He did.
you got to get back into shape. You think 2 days is just a good time to get back in shape?
I think they're being cautious. I think that what we don't see is a lot more important. I think he could have played last year. I just think that there was nothing to play for.
Right.
So who's to say that during practices and doing all that time that he wasn't running routes, that he wasn't getting familiar with the quarterback stare, that he wasn't, off doing what he needed to do.
Yeah.
The Bengals have seen enough, and again, that's what a head coach is for. You need to know the temperature of your team. So Zach Taylor knows what he's doing to an extent with that. You keep you keep the star player healthy. I can say that. So
Right.
I don't knock him for it. And again, we're a long way before actual football needs to be played. I'm pretty sure he's not going to rest up until game time. He'll have some time to do what he needs to do. But on another note, just like Tyler Boyd can attest, sometimes it's a good thing that AJ Green's not out there because now Tyler Boyd can get more reps. Tate can get more reps. When John Ross is back out there, he can get more reps. T. Higgins can get more reps.
All right.
The ball can only go to one person doing every play. So AJ Green, we know what you can do with the ball in your hands.
Yeah.
Now we need to see what everybody else can do. So
I mean, for the most part, we know what Boyd could do. We really just need to know what Tate,
yeah,
Ross, and Higgins could do.
and it's a chemistry thing too. AJ Green's a guy that Joe Burrow is going to get helped by AJ Green more than Joe Burrow is going to help AJ Green at least year one.
Right.
So that chemistry would be there no matter what. But he has to get that chemistry with everybody else too. So it's just you can find light out of dark. And AJ Green's injury last year again, you got Tyler Boyd that was 1,000-yard receiver. It probably wouldn't have happened if AJ Green was out there. So now you look at it this way, and the receivers now could get a whole lot better because of the reps and time that they can get during this portion of the season.
Okay. Well, we'll have to go to break real quick. Then we'll be back. And I think we only got one more thing on the rundown. This about to be a short show. All right, we're back. We're back. All right, my bad. I looked up too late. But
You gotta get your awareness up.
man, these commercials be short, and I don't know when they end.
How do you not know when they end?
It's not like I got a whole timer, man. I gotta find a timer on
The
this.
commercial ain't changed though.
You're right.
Bro, you got to stop going out before the shows, man.
I'm not going out nowhere.
That's all I'm saying.
But all right.
Stay out of moments.
All right. So right now, the last thing on the show notes we're gonna talk about. It seems that reports are coming out that the Browns' offense is lagging behind the defense so far. And backup quarterback Casey Keenum said, "Who is keeping score? I do not. I do not know. I think we are all growing. We are both growing. I think we are trading punches, if you will. I think we are competing. We are going at it. I think the defense has made some big plays for sure. I think we have made some big plays too. We have left some football out there, but we are learning and growing. I think both sides are doing great." That just sounds like I don't know what I just read, but
Philosophical.
that's your team, so you want to go in on it?
Well, one, I think that's a great thing. Actually, if the defense is ahead of the offense for two reasons. One, typically the defense is because the offense has to. It's this chemistry thing. You have to get on the same page. It's more happening around you. If you're a defensive end, you know what your job is. Defensive tackle, you know what your job. It's supposed to be that way. So that's cool. The offense is explosive, or at least it can be. So what that tells me from the optimistic side is that the defense is coming along. The defense is going to be a factor, and if the defense can be a factor, and the offense can be what I think it can be, this is going to be a fun year.
But I mean, wasn't the biggest problem for y'all last year the offensive line? So if offense is lagging behind, I mean the defense wasn't really a problem, other than probably linebacker. I think.
I would say the defense took a big hit after Miles Garrett went out. The defense played a lot better early, but I think once Miles Garrett went out, it just torpedoed. But I do think that the defense could be super formidable, and if they're taking on the image of their best player, which it sounds like that's what they're doing, then I don't have too much to worry about because that means the offense is getting one, they're getting challenged. So to me, that's you want a great defense or you want a great kind of tug of war because you want to get your guys ready. I don't want the Browns defense to be super far ahead of offense. I don't want the offense to be super far ahead of the defense. I just want it to be at least close enough, like you said, or like
balance
said,
enough.
Yeah, that they're trading punches. But again, it's early. At this point, I take almost everything I hear in training camp with a grain of salt.
Right.
You might look at Kansas City's training camp and they may say the same thing. Or the defense is miles ahead of the offense. Well, that defense should be the best defense in the league.
Well, that defense was terrible last year, so that'd be great reports to hear.
Yeah, it would be, but do you really think that the Kansas City defense is going to end up being better than the offense? Absolutely not. But that will be, to me, it's the same grain of salt. Like I'll hear that information and it's cool, but I need that to continue going into the season. So one thing about it is somebody needs to be playing well. So whether it's the defense or offense, like it's good to hear that it's some competition going, and it's a big deal and it matters. Um, because it again, everything is a mental um thing. So if you're an organization and you look at it as all playing my teammates and this don't really help us get better, I need to see other talent, I need to see other teams or whatever, then you're gonna miss the point. You need to start the competitiveness right now. The Browns defense to the offense needs to look like every team on that schedule. This is the closest you're going to get to competition until you actually kick off against Baltimore. So they just need to get into that mindset. And it needs to matter. Every snap matters, every play matters, everything matters. So shout out to that being a big deal. I want that to be the only thing coming out of the camp. Period. The Browns are the ones that offense defense are going at it. I don't want to. I like to know that matters and they care. So I'm cool with it.
Also, I didn't know Casey Keenum is supposed to be a guy for Baker.
Yeah, he's a backup more so, but he can play if you
Right.
need him to play. So it's to keep Baker's mentality sharp that you can be replaced. And Case Keenum is that guy. If you look up and Baker Mayfield is benched over in October and Case Keenum is taking over, that lets you know that they're going to get another quarterback.
But that doesn't scare you for that season. I mean, there's a lot of promise on that.
No, I mean, and another thing too is again with this COVID thing, you need to be prepared.
Right.
Like Baker could be playing well, but what happens if he's around some people that have COVID? And you have to sit him out for a couple weeks or something like that. You need to know that your backup can come in and they can win games. So I mean, it's not a big deal to me.
Okay. And talking on the Browns offense lagging behind the defense, I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, knowing that the offense did struggle these past 2 years, especially last year when they had so much promise. I mean, I'm not worried about the report for you because I really don't care for the Browns. But if it was my team, I would be worried just a little bit. Even though you are right to take training camp with a grain of salt because no one's really going their hardest out there. They're mostly just trying to get back into shape. But just hearing that, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, this is the time we're in.
All right.
Like, if anytime other than now, we're not even talking about this. You know what I mean? It's just this is the times of very limited reports. But again, we're living in the time that the less you hear, the best.
All right.
For real, you just want to hear a little snippet, and that's what we
Yeah, just
do.
a little tease, a little taste.
That's it. But I mean, eventually, it's all this stuff is going to matter once the ball's kicked off. Right now, I mean, it's just about figuring everything out because again, it's a new season. We don't know anything. Um, we don't know who's going to be here, who's not. The effects of COVID. Who knows? By the time they kick off the season, they may have it under control. You know what I'm saying? I'm
All right.
starting. I know Kansas City again representing them. We're going to have 22% capacity at their games, so it's starting to trend into right direction. So it's just more so. Again, the less news we hear, the better until we start getting this COVID thing, under wraps and together. So,
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have on the show notes. Anything else you want to talk?
check us out next week. We will be here. We will have some things to talk about. Again, this is
Hopefully,
this,
some more news.
yeah. But I mean, again, we to just to speak candidly and to do what we do. Um, we go off of what we hear, what we know, what we see. It's limited out here. It's going to be limited for a while, but this is it's not just the NFL players that have to adjust. It's everybody from the media to the general managers to the fans to the owners to the vendors to everybody. You just have to adjust and figure this thing out. But pretty soon, pretty shortly, everybody do everything the right way. We'll have some football to talk about. And again, that's sports brings the best out of everything and everybody. So, just shout out to that being a thing.
Yeah. Well, Key, we might have to bring a Ty on here to talk some soccer or some football, as they say in Europe. Just something.
He's not going to disrespect this set, but that's soccer talk. Ty has his own show. You hear me, Tyler? You have your own show.
That's crazy.
Stay over there.
That's crazy. Well, catch y'all next time, Thursday, 12 o'clock. we're gonna try to be on time. Hopefully, we're gonna have
Sure.
Coach over there along with T. And I'm gonna be over here in this chair, or maybe T gonna be over here in this chair. Who knows? Who
You
knows?
never know.
You just never know. But see y'all next time, man.